Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Reverse Sweep Show. South Africa is on the cusp of breaking their long drought of ICC success. And joining me is the co-host AB. AB, I hope you are following the game. What's up?
Absolutely. That's the one thing which is so refreshing to watch. You have spoken so much about the big three in the global cricketing landscape, and with South Africa's dominance, and they are performing well across formats. It is so refreshing to watch as a cricket fan. And just for context, for all our viewers and listeners, we are recording this when South Africa have what 4 runs to win. Markram has just gotten out, but I think they have enough firepower, enough batters in the lineup to take them home, and hence we say they are at the cusp of creating history. Yeah, but in other news, says I see you wearing a blue jersey, and I think that is the India blue. Is that a signal of things to come? What's that about?
Yes, it is the famous India Blue. A lot of listeners who tuned into our last episode were complaining that where do my actual loyalties lie as I picked up an all format Dynasty 11 for the future with a lot of English flavor. So I decided to signal that my loyalties still lie with Indian cricket. And keeping to the tune of that, today's episode is going to talk about another mini dynasty, the one that we all as Indian fans look back on with a lot of nostalgia already, but with a lot of love and fondness, is the Kohli-Shastri era that we like to call Virat Kohli and Ravi Shastri, the dominance that they had. And I know, AB, you have done a lot of research on the statistical side of it. So let's start from there.
Yeah, I mean, for all of us cricket fans, the Kohli-Shastri era marked a kind of a golden time for the entire Indian cricket team. And just talking about numbers, SS that you were mentioning, so in tests under this combination, under this duo of Kohli and Shastri, we played 39 matches, won 22 of them. So that is a 56% win record across home and away, and that record is only better at home, almost 79% win record at home, which is dominance. ODIs, we were the bilateral bullies, as we have spoken about it so many times. We played 67 matches, 145, that's a 67% win record. And the same thing in T20Is as well, 47 matches, 30 wins. So again, a 66% win record. So yeah, those are the big numbers when we talk about Kohli and Shastri.
And if we expand it to Kohli himself, I mean, Kohli became captain in the 2014-15 BGT when Dhoni, in the middle of the series, decided to retire. And I think Shastri was already like a serving 8-month director of Indian cricket one, so they were already there together, kind of working. And Kohli has an exceptional record, 68 test matches in Kohli's captaincy, 40 wins. He's India's most successful captain, 16 away wins, better than Ganguly, better than Dhoni as well, and is the fourth best captaincy record in world cricket. And his spell went from a short director stint of Shastri, then a 3 year long stint with Kumble, and then, of course, the stint that we are going to talk about with Shastri in the helm. And there are so many differences. I mean, with Kumble, you would expect, okay, Kohli, Delhi lad, fire in his belly, in your face. Kumble, legend of Indian game, and such methodical and cool and calm and collected that this fire and ice combination will work very well. It did work well on the ground, but there were always questions raised in the media behind the hush hush scene, coming out reports that people don't like Kumble's almost very strong-headed approach and not being so communicative with this young crop of players, pushing the players a lot, being a bit regimental about it. And ultimately, the fractious nature came out in the media, and Shastri came. And you would expect Shastri and Kohli to like fiery elements, extroverts. Will it work? Will it not work? But it worked out tremendously. It was almost like Shastri had so much belief on Kohli that they just beefed up, created a really good strategic plan on how to take Indian cricket forward in both home and away conditions, and it spelled out wonders. And it came to the statistics that we talked about. But we have so much to unpack. Maybe the best way to go about it is what are our memories, because it's already 7, 8 years now looking at back at that stint. So, AB, what are those, let's say, one memory as of this moment that stands out when you think about that Kohli Shastri era, red ball, white ball?
Yeah, when I think about it, Shastri walked away from coaching the Indian team a few years back, and now even Kohli has stepped back from playing Test cricket. And one instance that I think most of the Indian cricket fans would remember from this one period of time is the 60 overs of hell that the Indian team put the English team through in that Lord's Test match back in 2021. I think the series was what 1-1 each, and then we were at Lords, and I remember very clearly day three, day four, we were actually struggling, and Rahane Pujara stitched together a very hard fought partnership in the middle session of day four, I think, and only to give it back to then Shami and Bumrah, and they played a knock of ages. We were able to put up what 270 odd for England to chase in the last two sessions of the day, and that is when Kohli gave that famous address to the Indian team in the team huddle before we went out to bowl. And that is, I think, stuff of legends when we talk about captains motivating their teams and creating a clear direction for the teams to follow. And this was so symbolic of what Kohli as a captain was, always energetic, fiery, on the field, in your face, and that showed up in that match when we were able to win that match out of nowhere, literally. So that for me is one of the top most memories when I think about that Kohli-Shastri era of Indian cricket, and it gave me so much joy to watch that as an Indian cricket fan who grew up watching cricket from the 90s to the 2000s and then 2010s and now to 2021 watching an Indian captain lead the team like Kohli did that day. Now over to you, SS. What's your one big memory from that time?
Yeah, I mean, you had an excellent shout, so I have to compete with that one now with a good story. But I think it's almost like what a lot of people said, especially Harsha Bhogle said in the past, that Sachin was the poster child of India's economic confidence, but Kohli was a poster child or is a poster child of India's psychological confidence. When we go away, we are there to compete and compete really well and competing to win. I remember Siraj spell there. I mean, in Ganguly's time, we always blooded youngsters, but even in Kohli's time, we were, but they was like fast bowlers, like really going at it. So that is an amazing story, that test match in England. For me, I choose, yeah, something that we never thought as youth and as kids that we will ever win a series down under, but we did. Now we have done it twice. The first time when we did it was amazing. The first Asian team to ever do it. I remember all the knocks of Kohli, remember all the frustration that Cheteshwar Pujara did to Cummins and Hazelwood and Stark, that they made a documentary about it and talked so much about Cheteshwar Pujara. But also, since fast bowling is such a theme when we talk about Kohli-Shastri, Bumrah, Ishant Sharma, Mohammad Shami, all they picked up like 130 wickets in a spell of, I think, 12 or 16 months, which is still a world record in that. And they were amazing. And then, of course, you had the genius of Ashwin or Jadeja, whoever was playing. Uh, that series win will always go down monumental. That's just monumental that doing down under against this Australian team who has been so good with that pace attack, which we never thought. We will just win a test match here and there in Australia, but doing that, that stands out for me.
Definitely, that is something which I still think about it. Although a lot of people say that that was a win with an asterisk because they didn't have Warner and Smith
Smith
in,
and Warner,
but
yeah,
I still feel Australia is a formidable team to defeat. And we were able to prove that point the second time we went down under. That was in
exactly.
2021. And that is my next story that I always remember. The first match at Adelaide, the Adelaide aberration, as they call it, 36 all out, and to recover from there when nobody across world cricket gave us a chance. The team was able to recover from there. And as Ravi Shastri
Wear it
put
as
it,
a badge.
exactly, yeah, wear it as a badge of honor. And that to me defines what this team was able to transform mentally. The team ethos, the culture that Kohli and Shastri were able to create in the team. And although Kohli wasn't there for the rest of the matches, Rahane was able to take the team to victory, and it showed up the way Kohli had created that entire culture of winning, of competing. It showed up in how each and every player in that series turned up and performed whenever they were needed. That partnership that Ashwin and Vihari stitched together to defend the match, to get us to a draw in Sydney followed by the Gaba match where everyone, like whoever was there, whoever was not injured, was playing. And then you have Washington Sundar and Shardul Thakur
Thakur.
creating that partnership. And then last innings it was Pujara, Rishabh Pant, everyone. And you had Siraj, the leader of the attack, with what, 4 or 5
with
test matches.
with Navdeep Saini hobbling around in Nattu as well. It was a crazy team.
Yeah, so that definitely has to go down as one of the most monumental test series victories for the Indian team. So yeah, that is my next story.
Yeah, for my second story, I will choose something probably right at the start of the revolution we are in, of discovering somebody who might go down as the greatest bowler of all time. It was the South Africa series in 2017-18. We lost that series away 2-1, but it was also the time when people started noticing a bit naughty side of Kohli as well, being too much in the face of umpires and the media and the stump cam. But India were really at it. India had to win the third test match to ensure that the ICC mace back in the time remained with us, because we were world number one for almost 4.5, 5 good years. And that was a point where it could have slipped away. We had lost the first two test matches, and in came Jasprit Bumrah. First fifer for him. I remember Bhuvneshwar Kumar was the man of the match, but Bumrah was exceptional, and we won that game. And that game was like, okay, we might not be winning series in South Africa, but when it comes to crunch test matches, we are going to win when we need it. And most importantly, people were doubting whether Bumrah could be a great red ball bowler with the action, with his all his T20 exploits. He showed us then, and then it has always been the rise and rise of Jasprit Bumrah, which we are still witnessing.
Yeah, and when I think about the stories that you mentioned, SS, a couple of points really stick out for me. And these were the changes that Kohli and Shastri brought together in the team. One is when you talk about Jasprit Bumrah, they were very clear in their mindset that they wanted to create a bowling battery or an arsenal that could help them win matches, not just in India, but also abroad. This was never done before in the past. We had a few good bowlers here and there. We had Kapil Dev, we had Javagal Srinath, and then we had Zahir Khan, but we never had a pace bowling arsenal that could win us matches anywhere in the world. That is what I think Kohli and Shastri did from a very fundamental point of view. This was one of the shifts that they brought in. Then the other point, and you mentioned the first time we went, we actually won a series down under. This was, and you also mentioned Harsha Bhogle saying that Sachin was the poster boy of economic confidence, and Virat Kohli was the poster boy of psychological confidence. And that is another thing. We went down under with the confidence that we can actually win there, which never happened before. We would
Never.
always go down under with the tags of being the underdogs. And I think
And also, I think the entire aspect that you had Hardik Pandya there as well, who was playing a vital cog, and so much trust placed on him that you could be like the difference maker. You are like our Kalis, the 12th man, which we kind of referred in our previous episodes. And then you also at home, I mean, you prepare the pitches, of course, to get Ashwin and Jadeja into it. But then you have even like Umesh Yadav coming in and picking so many wickets in home test matches. So much trust on fast bowling. And I think that is like the biggest takeaway. For me, the second one would be the fitness levels overall. I think we saw in red ball and white ball, India became one of the fittest sides per se, led by example, of course, by Virat Kohli, such a strict regime, such a strict diet, introduction of yo-yo tests, and making sure the yo-yo tests are kept as an objective approach in trying to select players. If Yuvraj was not making cut of it, no exception. You will not be making the Indian team. And that I feel is still there in Indian cricket team, even in the Dravid era and beyond. And I think this is one of the big legacies, I would say, that will always continue, that India became like one of the leaders in fitness and not just a laggard just trying to catch up.
yeah, and the point around fitness, that is again so, like, as an Indian cricket fan who has seen the Indian team evolve through the 90s, we were way behind other teams when it came to fitness. Remember when Ganguly and Lakshman couldn't even run the fast singles, to now Indian cricketers dominating the fitness front on when it comes to world cricket. So yeah, definitely that is one thing which is not just something that Kohli Shastri changed, but it's a legacy that these people have left behind for the Indian cricket team even till now.
And also on the media handling as well, I believe that in the previous times when, I mean, not taking anything away from Gary Kirsten and John Wright, but they were like, okay, there, support staff, captain is the main guy. He will take all the tough questions, all the tough scenarios as well. But I remember a lot of times Shastri would jump in when he had to jump in press conferences and take control of the situation when he felt that journalists of India or any other world were going after Kohli. And that synergy, when to step in, when not to step in, trust each other, empower each other, I think that's the basis of this successful partnership.
Yeah, but with every thing that goes up, we also see things going down, and that is what we saw with the Kohli-Shastri partnership as well. Eventually, things fell out, and that is the reason why we say it's a mini dynasty and not a real dynasty. We stayed at the helm of Test rankings for 5 years, but then we also came down from there. Shastri retired. Shastri left the job as India's head coach, and then we also see Kohli now retiring from Test cricket. What do you think, SS, were the contributing factors for the fallout of this partnership, and why they couldn't achieve what they could have?
Yeah, for all the big wins in red ball cricket, especially PGT back to back, I think there is a inherent desire of Indian media and Indian fans, uh, the crave for an ICC trophy. We won the World Cup in 2011, then the Champions Trophy 2013. But then when you know that you have the best team in the world, which has been winning all the white ball bilaterals, winning roughly every series at home, every other series away, came close in 2017 Champions Trophy final. Okay, that was an off day. But then when you get some other chances, you need to be performing better. I think red ball cricket was really emphasized in that era. And I mean, that's one of the biggest legacy from Kohli's time, that Kohli always says test cricket is paramount. Every youngster should prioritize that. I think India fell a bit behind the curve when it came to white ball cricket. Reason could be that they just remained there in England, really up the ante. And we were never the favorites in 19 World Cup. We were playing in T20 game, which was a bit behind the curve again. And because of constant failures at ICC events, pressure started building up. That eventually led to all the media scrutiny and people wanting for change. And it's like, be careful what you wish for. But in a ecosystem like Indian cricket, it's result oriented, and it comes to result oriented, you are measured on ICC tournament success. And since that wasn't happening, that is, I think, the biggest reason why the partnership did not continue for long, and ultimately Kohli also lost interest amongst all the scrutiny that he had to face.
Yeah, and you make a very relevant point when you say that 2019 World Cup, we were a really strong team, but we weren't probably the favorites. We all talk about that. What if rain didn't hamper the match between India and New Zealand in the semi-finals? But I still feel we would have probably won, but then we were the second best team in the tournament. Eventually, England were the best team, and it would have taken us a really good day in the finals, even if we made it there to win it. Again, when we talk about the T20 World Cup in 2020, that was one of the lowest points for Indian team in T20 when we exited in the group stage.
And that was
And
a point where Kohli and Ganguly and the BCCI spat happened, and a lot of statements said here and there, and Kohli actually gave up the captaincy of T20.
yeah, and if I also think about myself as an Indian cricket fan, not winning an ICC tournament wasn't that big a pain, or it didn't sting as much as the way in which we lost it.
Yeah.
In both the semi-final of 2019 World Cup and also in the 2020 World Cup, where we felt that we were a bit behind the curve. World cricket had moved on at a rapid pace, and we weren't able to keep pace with that. We were still a couple of steps behind where other teams were. For example, England revolutionizing white ball cricket with in around 2019 with all these players in Owen Morgan, Josh Butler, Johnny Bairstow, and then Australia also playing really well. They went ahead with that all rounder route, and then these were things that we always lacked.
And also in
The
the T20s, I think we were still playing, we hadn't learned from how the West Indies achieved success, six hitting capability, not relying on too many anchorish rules, wicket taking bowlers. We never got that formula correct. So even in T20s, if there were more ICC World Cups happening every 2 years, maybe if there was a T20 World Cup in 2018 or 20, I don't think we would have won that.
Yeah. But now, I says we have
Time
got
for
to
what
move to
ifs.
our favorite section, our favorite segment on this podcast.
I I think I have a good one for you. Since we were on the topic of discussing about ICC events, I mean we have multiples of them. WTC Final 2021, you could think that was the best chance because we are red ball. At least we were playing the best cricket, unlike in the white ball format, we were still catching up. Do you think if we would have crossed the line with some luck, some preparation, uh, we were kind of competing well in that final as well till the moment? The partnership, how would it have fared? Would it have been lasting longer? What do you think about that?
Yeah, we spoke at length about where we were in the white ball format. I think it was actually the red ball format, which was our best shot at winning an ICC tournament. And we have seen all the teams which cannot win, which just cannot win for even if they put up the best team that they have a white ball ICC tournament. It's the red ball WTC championship that they are able to win. Look at New Zealand, look at South Africa today.
Yeah.
I think that was our best shot at winning an ICC tournament in that period of time. But then one session of bad play and that put us way back in the game. But definitely, SS, to answer your question, to think about it, ultimately it's the outcome which shows, right? If we were able to win a few ICC tournaments here and there, even if it was a Champions Trophy back in 2017, although Shastri wasn't the coach at that time, but even if we were able to win that or the 2019 World Cup or one of the T20 World Cups in 2020 or 21, uh, or sorry, 21 and 22, or the World Test Championship final, I think that would have given this duo of captain and coach a longer rope. BCCI would have been much more comfortable trusting them for the longer term, and probably it would have also eased out a lot of pressure mentally from Kohli's mind, and probably we would have had 2, 3 more good years with Kohli captaining the team and Shastri coaching the team.
Yeah, exactly.
But now I have a question for USS. For everything that we talk about Indian team achieving in the red ball format, we won a couple of series down under in Australia. But then we also struggle to win consistently in England or South Africa. South Africa is one place where we have still not won a test series. Do you
Correct.
think that would have given the team that much needed fillip, keeping ICC tournaments away, like away series wins in England and South Africa or probably New Zealand? Would that have
Yeah.
given us that fillip?
It definitely would have been, I think. It just gives, yeah, as you said, Philip impetus. I think COVID played a big role as well over here because in the 21 series, I think we were up to one. This was pre-Basball era. England weren't great in Test cricket, and we had everything powering. And you talked about that 60 overs of hell. Um, the last Test match, I was there in the stadium in the last Test match. It happened 1 year later on, and we were caught up in the baseball storm. I think if it would have happened earlier, we would have won the series, and that would have been a big medal for Kohli-Shastri era that we have won not only a couple of series BGT. I mean, that's great, but we also won in England as well. South Africa, I think, couple of missed chances. I think this one is something that I usually blame Kohli-Shastri era. They could have taken. I remember Gavaskar speaking about after the 21 series or something, we were 1-0 up and they said, yeah, we'll win 3-0 or something. And we lost. We lost after being 1-0 up. And this wasn't a great South African team. We should have won it. So, stuff. I think for New Zealand, we usually play two test matches and we caught up with very bad pitches before the World Cup. And I think Kyle Jamieson ate us up. So that can happen in New Zealand. Bad pitches, toss doesn't go your way. It can happen short series. South Africa, we should have won. England, asterisk, I would say we were nearly there. I don't think in the long run, without winning an ICC trophy, even you would have won the England series. That would have been great. But I think the legacy would have sounded much, much better. People would have given them maybe one more series, not sacked them straight away after South Africa series, moving them both on. But I don't think that was as important as winning that ICC. That ICC thing had become like a bug, which the media was craving for, which the fans are craving for. So a series win, helpful, definitely. Maybe extends them for a 6 months, 1 year. But if they don't win the ICC trophy, maybe if they don't win the T20 World Cup in Australia, which they played under Rohit's captaincy, then also it's the same thing. I think they will be chucked out. That is my sense.
Yeah.
We spoke about Pandya, right? What do you think about him? Pandya fitness, I think that was a big thing. We were effectively playing with 12 people. Would that have made a difference?
I think that has always been the chink in our armor whenever we talk about the Indian cricket team from that period of time. uh, like our batters could not bowl, our bowlers could not bat. Probably Pandya was one of those very few players who could do both. That was so bad that at some point of time, India decided to play five specialist bowlers and then six batters along with a wicket keeper. And to some point of time, they were also successful. We saw that with Kulcha dominating in South Africa. But then every once in a while, when we were playing a high pressure match, whether it was the World Cup semifinals of 2019 or any knockout match in an ICC tournament, whether it was the World Test Championship final, whenever there was high pressure, we lost a few quick wickets. The batters would go under immense amount of pressure. They would go into their own shell,
Yeah,
and that is where the Pandya effect, I feel, comes in even more. What he can do on the field is fine, but the kind of comfort that he can give to the batters and to the bowlers, that he's there and he can contribute down the order with the bat and also with a
yeah.
few critical overs with the ball. I think that is something which we missed big time. I
And we've
think
seen his,
if
yeah, we have seen his
yeah,
contributions in the recent ICC wins.
yeah, definitely. So I feel if Pandya was fit, or if he had other good all rounders, although I feel he's one of those players who is absolutely irreplaceable in world cricket right now. But even if our bowlers could bat a bit or our batters could bowl a bit, we would have had a better shot of winning tournaments, and the Kohli-Shastri era would have been a much more successful one for us.
Okay. So in total, our summary is it was a great era, which we look back at a lot of fondness, gave us the fast bowling strength, the impetus on fitness, objectivity with yo-yo test, and also that psychological will that, okay, we are the financial powerhouse when it comes to cricket, but also on the field, we can compete with everyone, win against anyone, anywhere. The ICC trophies eluded, but the blueprint that they provided, now we are reaping the benefits of it from all counts of winning ICC trophies. And once the transition goes complete, maybe we will be a strong red ball team again. But yeah, there you have it, guys. Our overall thing is that if we did win an ICC trophy under Kohli and Shastri, maybe the famous partnership would have gone a bit longer. But yeah, there are some things that are left as what ifs, just like this podcast tries to answer every week. So we will be back with another episode next weekend, and hopefully we'll publish more content on social media. Do check us out there, and hoping for more feedback. So till the next time, bye bye from me and AB.